It's like a diamond ring, it's a precious thing, and we never want to lose it. It's like a favorite song that we love to sing. Every time we hear the music, and we're in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. We're in this love together, and like berries on the vine, it gets sweeter all the time. It's like a rainy night and candlelight, and ooh, it's so romantic. We got the whole thing working out so right, yes. And it's just the way we planned it. We're in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. Don't you know that we're in this love together? And like berries on the vine, it gets sweeter all the time.
search to find the love within. I came back to let you know, got a thing for you, and I can't let it go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze from your love, you see. I came back to let you know, got a thing for you, and I can't let it go. Some people go around the world for love, but they may never find.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Kathy Scott, and I'm happy to welcome you to the Spring 2023 commencement exercise for the School of Business and the School of Education at the University of North Texas at Dallas. We're honored to have so many family members, friends, and special guests here with us today to celebrate and applaud our graduates. A professional photographer is on hand to photograph the conferral of each graduate's degree to ensure that you have a permanent record of this event. You are all here to honor someone you love, and we would like for each of you to enjoy the celebration. So we ask that you please silence your phones and other devices during the ceremony. Now I ask you to stand if you're able and remain standing for the processional and the national anthem. Please remain standing for our national anthem, which will be followed by a welcome from President of the University of North Texas at Dallas, Mr. Bob Mong.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming,
whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please be seated. Hello, my name's Bob Mong, president of UNT Dallas, and I want to welcome you, provide a very warm welcome to all of you for attending this celebration. I think you'll be pleased to know that our May 2023 list of graduates is a record number for us, listing over 600 graduates in our two ceremonies. You add to that the 400 plus who graduated in December, and you compare that to 475 graduates total in 2015, this university is making a difference in this community. Thanks to all of you. It's now my pleasure to welcome our esteemed provost, Dr. Betty Stewart, to the podium.
Good morning. It is my pleasure to introduce the members of the Platform Party and the University Academic Deans. I ask that those being introduced please stand as their names are called and remain standing until everyone in your party has been introduced. Audience, please hold your applause until each group has been recognized. Bob Mong, President, University of North Texas at Dallas. Melissa Denis, Regent, University of North Texas System, representing the UNT System Board of Regents. Dr. Kathy Scott, Mistress of Ceremonies and Associate Professor, School of Business. Thank you. Now I'll introduce our UNT Dallas academic deans and the University Marshal. Dr. Ali Shaklia, Dean of the Graduate School. Dr. Christine Rimley, Dean, School of Education. Dr. William Ingram, Assistant Dean, School of Business. Dr. Michelle Kessner McShane, University Marshall and Lecturer, School of Education. Thank you, and please be seated.
Thank you, Provost Stewart. And now we have a video greeting from the Honorable Royce West, Texas State Senator.
Congratulations and welcome. It's indeed a privilege and a pleasure to commend and welcome the 2023 spring graduating class of the University of North Texas at Dallas, your family, friends, President Mung, regents, your graduation speaker, and administration, faculty, and staff to this most auspicious day. Graduates, this day, your graduation day, will have a monumental impact on your lives and the maturation and growth of the University of North Texas at Dallas. I'm so overwhelmed by this day. You, the 622 students graduating in the spring of 23, join a total of nearly 10,000 alum of this most prestigious university. Hey, you in the back, quit texting, stop, pay attention to everything that goes on today, especially the message from your keynote speaker. Remember, you will be marked a graduate after today, and much will be expected of you. The kind of leadership that UNT Dallas has cultivated and birthed in you is life-changing. Don't you feel it? I can. Bible verse, Luke 12:48, 4-6. From everyone who has been given much, much will be required. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, even more will be asked. You've truly been given much and entrusted with much. In education, an opportunity to succeed, a possibility to advance professionally, a chance to grow personally, a responsibility to engage civically, a calling that will allow you to help others, and a commitment to be part of God's will. You know, I recall sitting on a plane coming back from the Capitol during one of the many battles concerning Dallas's first public university. You see, we didn't know which established university would collaborate with us for this project. I prayed in a prayer and asked my God to allow me to be a part of his will and create a university for generations yet unborn. Now we have over 10,000 graduates. You are the manifestation of my prayer. And you are a part of the history of the University of North Texas at Dallas, the first four-year state-supported comprehensive university in this city. Since the last graduation, UNT Dallas began planning its fourth building, a $100 million, 122,000 gross square foot state-of-the-art science building, set to open in 2025. It will change the landscape of STEM education and innovation on this campus, the DFW Metroplex, and also the state. But amidst the celebration of this time and this day, I'll be somewhat nostalgic, remembering so many faces, hands, and hearts that worked so diligently for your graduation day. There are the people that stood with me, graduates, when I went to the community to ask for their support in this endeavor, and that are missing here today. They shared the vision, but didn't live to see the results. They were the members of the Southern Dallas County Feasibility Study Community Task Force, and you would not be here today without their efforts and tenacity. If you don't know what they were, who they were, and what they did, you should. I thank them, and so should you. That type of commitment continues on this campus, from the president's office to the janitor's closet. The University of North Texas at Dallas's professionals work together for their students and the communities that surround them. It was and still is all about accessibility, access to educational opportunities and attainment. UNT Dallas has had just over 10,000 graduates, and we add approximately 622 students graduating from UNT Dallas in the spring of 2023. Yes, I said it before, and I just said it again. Today, your name is added to this roll, and you're a part of the tapestry of the current success of UNT Dallas with rankings like #1 in student outcomes and #1 in community support among Texas public universities, and that's Scholarshot. 5th best college in Texas, according to Money Magazine. 21st as the top public school among regional universities west by U.S. News and World Report. Number 23 as a top performer in social mobility among regional universities west by U.S. News and World Report. UNT Dallas' success is your success, and your success is our success. Congratulations to you for your hard work, tenacity, and determination, and thank you to those that supported you and made this day possible. To the children, parents, spouses, partners, siblings, family, friends, employers, and co-workers of today's graduating class, thank you. You, as a UNT Dallas graduate, must have vision. You must have determination. You must persevere, particularly when times are tough. You must listen, evaluate, adapt, and reevaluate. The days ahead of you will not be easy. Your way will not always be straight, nor will your experiences always pleasurable. But be not discouraged, because you have traveled the halls and classrooms of an institution of the highest educational caliber, created just for you, the University of North Texas at Dallas. I look forward to witnessing the trails you will blaze forward and your success. Congratulations today.
At this time, I would like to recognize our military service members and veterans. The UNT Dallas and the UNT system family are proud to support our students serving on active and reserve status and our military veterans. We honor their sacrifice. UNT Dallas is proud to be a Purple Heart campus and to have received a military-friendly designation. UNT Dallas is also an official chapter of Salute, which is a Veterans National Honor Society. Eligible veterans inducted into this honor society must have a GPA of 3.5 or above. Chapter members graduating today are wearing blue honor stoles. As a symbol of our appreciation for their service to our country, all graduating students and members of the UNT Dallas family who have served or currently serve in the armed forces are wearing red, white, and blue cords. I would like to ask the students who are active service in the reserves or a veteran to please stand if you are able and be recognized. Thank you. Please be seated. Now I ask all military service veterans who are faculty and staff to please stand if able and be recognized. Thank you, and please be seated. Finally, with all the veterans, including active duty or reserve, who are in the audience, please stand if you are able and be recognized. Thank you. Please be seated. To all of you, or to all who are serving or have served, thank you for answering the call to duty. And to all the military families, we thank you for your sacrifice. Today you have made our armed forces the most respected in the world. As I look into the audience today, I see faces that are filled with excitement and anticipation for all the opportunities ahead, thanks to your new degree. Our next speaker is someone who understands exactly what you're feeling right now. Please join me in welcoming bachelor's degree candidate Stephanie Lorraine Sanchez.
Thank you, Dr. Scott, and thank you, esteemed members of the faculty, administration, families, and graduates. Some of you may know this face, whether it was found roaming around campus, on my Canvas profile picture, or even in class group meet chats. But for those of you who don't, let me introduce myself briefly. My name is Stephanie Lorraine Sanchez, and like many of us, I began attending UNT Dallas in the fall of 2020 during quarantine, and my experience has been anything but ordinary. I started with one major, business, and then halfway through my first semester, I decided to add another one just for the fun of it. It's sociology, by the way. I also became very involved in student organizations to have the experience of being on our university campus. I was a part of the campus activities board at the beginning of my academic career. Then, with the help of some fellow students and an advisor, we brought the Criminal Justice and Sociology Student Association onto our campus during the spring semester of 2022. Around that time, I also became an active member of the Pre-Law Society and the Baptist Student Ministry. Needless to say, I became a pretty active member in these student organizations to enjoy being on campus, since I only took about 3 classes in person in the 3 years that I've been a student. But enough about me. Today, we are here to celebrate our academic achievements, our late-night study sessions, our successful but highly not encouraged procrastination, and our determination to push forward in difficult times. We have all worked hard to achieve this milestone, and it is a pleasure to celebrate it together. For many of us, college has been a transformative experience. The relationships we have made and the habits we have formed have all shaped us into who we are today. That said, we are starting a new chapter in our lives where uncertainty follows. We have learned the ropes of critical thinking, effective communication, and collaboration. These abilities will help us navigate the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead in our next journey. I encourage all my fellow graduates to remember the values and principles instilled in their moral code, to be compassionate, empathetic, and brave leaders who inspire others to do better and to be better. Let us remember that the education that we have received at UNT Dallas is not only for ourselves, but for our society. So let us use our knowledge and experience to give back to our communities. I want to express my gratitude to all who have supported and cheered for this very moment. I would like to thank God for his guidance, my family for their never-ending love and support, my professors for their mentorship and knowledge, and my fellow graduates for their collaboration and support. As this chapter comes to an end and a new page is turned, let us celebrate the accomplishments of earning our degrees, remember the lessons we've learned, and cherish the memories we've made. Congratulations to the UNT Dallas class of 2023. Continue to blaze your trail. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, for those encouraging and heartfelt words. You're an amazing example of what makes UNT Dallas graduates so special. At this time, President Bob Mong will introduce our keynote speaker.
I have a bit of surprise for you. Our keynote speaker, Caitlin Dickerson, yesterday, about 24 hours ago, learned that Columbia University and the Pulitzer Prize Board announced the winners of the 2023 Pulitzer Prize. And our commencement speaker, Ms. Dickerson, won the Pulitzer for explanatory journalism. So if we could please congratulate her. Timing is everything. Just a couple weeks before that, the Livingston Awards from the University of Michigan honors the most promising journalists under 35 years old. And I think it may be the third or fourth time Caitlin's won that. But she's also a recent Livingston Award winner. Congratulations, Caitlin. Last year, we had an absolutely wonderful commencement speaker in May who was in the 8th decade of his life. And he looked back on his career as a Rhodes Scholar, a longtime big city mayor, a distinguished dean of a law school, a president of a university. This year, we look at someone who is at the opposite end of the career trajectory, who is young and accomplished, and I think is example to all of our graduates of how a young person, committed and focused and determined, can create meaningful and significant work. Just a few years out of her college experience at National Public Radio as a producer and reporter, she won what I consider one of the 2 top broadcast awards, the George Foster Peabody Award, for an extraordinary piece on secret mustard gas experiments on African American soldiers during World War II. She also won an Edward R. Murrow for that. She went on to cover immigration for the New York Times for about 5 years, and has covered immigration issues over 3 presidential administrations. She joined Atlantic after the New York Times. And I have one story I want to tell before Caitlin comes up here. I was in Louisiana this weekend honoring 2 student journalists who had just won an Investigative Reporters and Editors Award, the IRE. Very tough to win. And they won it for looking into a cold case murder of 2 Southern University law students 50 years ago. I was talking to one of the students after the ceremony, and he told me that when he graduates from college in about a week, he's going to work for NPR. I took out my business card, and on the back of it, I wrote 2 words, Caitlin Dickerson. I said, you need to study how much Caitlin made out of her experience at NPR. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Caitlin Dickerson.
Good afternoon. I'm going to move this up because I'm very tall. When I agreed to be with you here today months ago, I did not know that I was going to win a Pulitzer the day before. But now that that's happened, I woke up this morning and thought, wow, there is really nowhere else I'd rather be to celebrate than with students getting ready to graduate from a majority-minority public college like the one that I graduated from. And to let you guys know, as if you didn't already, that you should go out and get your Pulitzer or whatever your version of that is, because you can do it too. Even when you're sitting in the workplace, as I often have, beside one person from Harvard and one person from Yale. So I want to start today by actually asking everybody here in the room to take a quick moment of silent reflection on everything that you've done to reach this point. So the students, you've worked for years to get here, many of you juggling personal obligations on top of your academics, but also the parents, the community support networks, the professors, the administrators, school staff, facility staff, everybody here who's helped these graduates reach this point. What did you overcome in your own life to put you in the position to play that all-important role? Let's all just take a moment and think about all of that hard work in silence. Okay, thank you for bearing with me, especially for those who might have thought my request was a little bit cheesy. I assure you that I've come to believe very strongly in celebrating accomplishments and reflecting on hard work, but that was a journey for me, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit because I think perhaps some of you identify with it. So for most of my life, moments of gratitude weren't my MO, including 13 years ago when I was sitting in your chairs graduating from a public college. I wasn't the type of person to sit around and bask in the good for a couple of reasons. One, I grew up in a rural farm community. I went to underperforming public schools. I lived in a house that was sometimes unstable. And I didn't know my potential as a student for most of my academic life. And then even when I did figure that out, I went on to cover and dedicate myself to highlighting some of the most harrowing circumstances imaginable. So people who've been forced to flee from their homes and cross international borders in the middle of the night because of a violent conflict, people who don't have the ability to feed their children, people who've lived for months or years outside in refugee camps, exposed to the elements without access to enough food, to hydration, to sanitation, people who've had their children taken from them by government officials who didn't believe they were entitled to being treated like human beings. So for a long time, these experiences led me to think that anybody sitting around basking in the best thing that had happened to them that day might have been a little bit naive. Didn't they understand how many people were suffering? Didn't they know how unjust the world can be? I read a quote in one of my favorite books. It's called The Goldfinch. And it really resonated with me during this time. I'm gonna read it for you. Bear with me. Like I said, we're on a journey. We're gonna go dark before we go light, so don't worry. But here's the quote. I don't care what anyone says or how often or winningly they say it. No one will ever be able to persuade me that life is some awesome, rewarding treat. Because here's the truth. Life's catastrophe. The basic fact of existence, of walking around trying to feed ourselves and find friends or whatever else we do, is catastrophe. Forget all this ridiculous our town nonsense everyone talks, the miracle of a newborn babe, life you are too wonderful to grasp, etc. Better never born than born into this cesspool, sinkhole of hospital beds, coffins, broken hearts. No release, no appeal, no do-overs. No way forward but age and loss, no way out but death. Okay, I know that's probably not the message you were expecting to hear on graduation day. Don't worry, I'm not gonna leave it there, but in a way it resonates, right? Given everything that we've been dealing with. that you've been dealing with as a community here in Texas, as a country, as a world. You know, in many ways, we're living in dark times. But after years of spending time covering some of these challenges from the front lines, I came to see that that cynical perspective was missing a big part of the story. I noticed that focusing only on the plight of people who were living in refugee camps was to forget the musician I met in one of them, who spent his days teaching music classes to kids to try to distract them from the circumstances they were living in, to help their brains continuing to develop, even though they hadn't been to school for a day since they'd been forced to leave their homes. It was to forget the elder woman I met in one of those camps, who I watched use a plastic bowl and some of her precious reserves of water to teach a young new mother whose own mom had been killed how to bathe her newborn baby. To be clear, I'm not encouraging you to ignore or sanitize the overwhelming amount of injustice in our world. What I'm encouraging is something that Bell Hooks wrote about, something a friend of hers described as, quote, the idea that exists of a line between being mad and madness, between radical action and personal self-destruction. I know over the course of your college career, you've come across things in your own lives, in your communities, in your studies that seemed unjust, wrong, unfair, and they were probably upsetting. At times, your mind might have been filled with so many of those things at once that you felt incapacitated. Heads up, that's going to keep happening. But what I think Bell Hooks and some of the people I've had the privilege of getting to know and write about helped to teach me is that despite all of those things, life is still precious. Accomplishments like this one are absolutely still worth celebrating. And if you think of your attention as a light, you can shine it as much on the good as you do on the bad. I think doing that might even give you the strength to keep fighting. Whatever that means for you, if you become a journalist and you decide to draw attention to some of these issues, or if for you that means just getting up and going to work again at a job that you don't love because that's what you have to do to support your family. Here's another quote from the Goldfinch. This one I didn't identify with at first, but now I do, even more than the first. Life, whatever else it is short. Fate is cruel, but it may not be random. Nature, meaning death, always wins, but that does not mean we have to bow and grovel to it. Maybe even if we're not always so glad to be here, it's our task to immerse ourselves anyway, wade straight through it, right through the cesspool, while keeping our eyes and hearts open. And in the midst of our dying, as we rise from the organic and sink back ignominiously into the organic, it is a glory and a privilege to live what death doesn't touch. I mentioned earlier that for most of my life as a student, I didn't know my own potential. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit because I'm going to guess I'm not the only person in the room who feels that way. We're state school kids, right? Not the kind of students who've had either straight A's their entire lives and a limitless trust fund. Maybe you had one, and if you did, that's great, but probably not both, and for a lot of us, not either. Maybe some of you, like me, were even labeled by teachers as lacking in potential, as lazy or disruptive or a class clown. That was my experience. I was lucky in that I always tested well, but I couldn't get any work done, and so I sat around in class and told jokes. And while my teachers were correct that I am funny, I've always been funny, I don't try to hide that from people, I don't think that's very fair to them. Thank you. What they didn't notice was that I was really interested in school. I just couldn't focus long enough to get anything done. I had a room full of books at home that I wanted to read, but I couldn't get to the end of the first chapter. And remember, now I'm writing a book. You can do that too. My first indication that I had been labeled incorrectly as a student came when I got my SAT scores back. You can probably guess that I didn't study. I bought the book, didn't open it. But I remember sitting in my government class my senior year of high school and opening up the scores and looking at them. Okay, math, I did pretty well. Science, I did pretty well. But writing, really well. Like better than the most accomplished students. I walked over to my teacher at the time and showed him the score, and I remember his reaction was, huh? Like he was impressed but also confused and not sure if maybe someone had made a mistake. At that point, I was also applying for colleges, and I was applying for scholarships to help me out. One of them was from the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and their interview was the second indication I had that I had been labeled incorrectly as a student. I could tell as I was sitting with the women of that sorority that I was answering their questions in a way that impressed them. They were giving me a look I had never seen before. It was pride. They were looking at me like I was really something. I saw excitement in their eyes, maybe at knowing they were going to give me that scholarship, knowing it was going to help me, maybe at wondering where I was going to end up in life and knowing that they'd play a role in it. On the drive home that hot summer day in the Central Valley of California, I passed sun-scorched fields on either side of my car, and I reflected on their expressions, wondering if I had really seen what I thought I had, and if I deserved it. Ever since that day, through my college career and through my professional career, where you all are headed now, I've looked out for that expression, and I've followed it where it's guided me. I learned a hard lesson I want to share with you. People who mislabel you, who don't see your potential, they don't want to be proven wrong. Even though I've had an incredible career and I've had many opportunities, I've met plenty of those people along the way. And I used to think it was just a misunderstanding at first, like, oh no, don't worry, I've been mislabeled before, it's all good, I'm actually really great and I work hard and I have a lot to offer you. I thought that they would respond by saying, oh, Caitlin, what a relief. I really underestimated you at first, but thank goodness you actually are wonderful. I'm so glad we're best friends now. That doesn't really happen. People don't like to be proven wrong. Sometimes they even double down when you prove them wrong. So my advice is when you meet someone who looks at you with a label that you know doesn't apply to you, don't waste your time tap dancing to try to convince them otherwise. Don't get mad at them. Don't try to get revenge. Just walk around them as quickly as you can and move toward people who look at you like the women of Delta Sigma Theta looked at me. With a little twinkle in their eye that says as powerfully as any language could, I believe in you and I want to support you. You're going to see these expressions in job interviews. Pay attention to them. When someone gives you a deeply skeptical look, I'm not talking neutral, I mean clearly lacking in faith in you, you're going to be tempted to start tap dancing. Just try to clarify and let them know who you really are because you know what you're capable of. You should always do your best in interviews, but when it comes time to weighing job offers or deciding which offices to walk into and apply in the first place, give some extra weight to anybody who gives you twinkly eyes. Those are the people who are going to invest in you, and they're going to help you grow. Those are also the people to make your mentors. You don't want a begrudging, skeptical mentor who doesn't take you seriously because you didn't go to Harvard or Yale. You want a mentor who's going to take your call at 9 o'clock at night when you've had a bad day at work and listen to you vent. And they're not going to do it because they're a nice person, although hopefully they are a nice person. They're going to do it because they know that you are worth investing in, and they want to help you get where you want to go. So just to make it simple, I'm just going to ask you to remember twinkly eyes. Okay, one quick bridge here before I bring us home with a final few verses. I want to talk about this concept of beginning again. It's something that I learned through meditation, but anybody can use it, and you don't have to sit in silence to be able to do so. But I think the sooner you can familiarize yourself and get comfortable with beginning again, the better off you'll be. So today is full of promise, right? I can practically hear you all and your families daydreaming about what you're going to go on and accomplish in life, and I'm daydreaming for you too. But because you're human beings, you're not going to accomplish every single one of those goals, or if you do, you might not do it exactly when you expect to. That's okay. I want to encourage you to embrace moments of failure. Get to know them as part of your narrative. You can even greet them like, oh, Caitlin, let me know you were going to be here. Thanks so much. Nice to meet you. Moving on. You're okay to feel sad, to feel betrayed, to feel disappointed when you run into failure. That's no problem. But make friends with those moments, accept them as part of your story, and then as soon as you can, begin again. I don't teach a business school class, but if I did, it would be about beginning again. I think it's one of the most powerful strategic moves that you can make in your personal and your professional lives. Okay. I'm going to send you all off to celebrate, to embrace the amazing thing that you've done by graduating from college. Reflect silently as long as you need to today on that. And maybe for today, don't even think about the challenges ahead. Don't think about who's going to support you and who isn't. But when the time comes, when you start doing job interviews, remember what I told you to look out for? Twinkly eyes. And if you go through a dry spell, which we all do, a period when you haven't seen anybody look at you like that in a very long time, try to remember the way that I'm looking at you today, and the way that your families and your friends and your professors and your administrators are looking at you today. Because University of North Texas at Dallas, class of 2023, for you today, our eyes are all twinkles. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for bonding so closely with our graduates. Now it's my privilege to invite our provost, Dr. Betty Stewart, who will now join me for the conferral of degrees.
Would the students who are candidates for the baccalaureate and the master's degrees please stand? President Meng, these students have successfully completed the curriculum prescribed by the faculty for their respective degrees. It gives me pleasure on behalf of the faculty to present these candidates to you.
Thank you, Provost. By the authority vested in me by the state of Texas, through our Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the degree for which you have been certified with all the rights and privileges that go with it. Congratulations.
Graduates, you may be seated. As is tradition, candidates for master's degrees will be presented first. These students were presented with their hoods in a previous ceremony. Let's begin.
Now, calling candidates with a master's degree from the School of Business. Reina Castillo Alvarado. Julio Ariano. Tanisha Jones. Danielle Kennebrew. Ava Lewis. Sang Man. Abril Marquez. Micah McNair. Melissa Munoz. Sergio Pérez. Enrique Pérez. Leticia Pérez. Azareli Ramírez. Mariluz Reyes. Ashley Salazar Hernández. Zakia Williams. Now calling candidates with a master's degree from the School of Education. Arentina Bannister. Marcus Burkhalter. Princeton Cobb. Jacqueline Fields. Jessica Ford. Amanda Gann. Miguel Guerrero. Miguel Guinbatan. Alina Wong. LeBreon Jackson. Winifred Jackson Bell. Felicia Quigley. Ernest Quintanilla Jr. Alvin Shaw. Now calling candidates with a bachelor's degree from the School of Business. Jennifer Acosta. Anthony Alvarado. Christopher Anderson. Jacqueline Andrade. Alejandro Argueta, summa cum laude. Tariq Assad, summa cum laude. Kimberly Avila Almanza. Katia Barrera. Yolotzi Barrera Hernández. Juliana Benitez, magna cum laude. Keena Brown Barrett. Eduardo Bustamante. Josephine Carton, summa cum laude. Miles Carter. San Juana Cervantes. Viridanai Chavez Campuzano, magna cum laude. Josué Cisneros. Curtis Coleman Jr. Carla Cruz, cum laude. Jalen Curley. Aubrey Danford, cum laude. Maria del Rio Trejo, magna cum laude. Sabrina Diaz, cum laude. Deneen Drake, cum laude. Albert Espinosa Jr., magna cum laude. Jocelyn Ferrufino, summa cum laude. Candace Fields. Brenda Flores. Natalie Flores. Jasmine Garcia, cum laude. Ruby Garcia, magna cum laude. Cindy Gomez, cum laude. Pamela Gomez, magna cum laude. Cynthia Gonzalez. Wendell Gray. Beatriz Gutierrez, magna cum laude. Johnny Ha, magna cum laude. Christopher Harris. Joanna Hernandez. Sofia Hernandez. Valeria Hernandez, summa cum laude. Rebecca Hill, cum laude. Karen Henshaw, magna cum laude. Latwasha Hudson. Jewel James, cum laude. Taylor Jefferson. Priscilla Kennedy. Faith Kwamboka. Kishani Lark. Patrick Lemley, cum laude. Jonathan Leon. Michael Longley, cum laude. Jose Lopez. Henry Lee, summa cum laude. Christopher Martinez. Kiara Martinez, cum laude. Luis Mata, magna cum laude. Cedric Mayfield, magna cum laude. Iriana McCarthy, cum laude. Bradley McMillan. Jennifer Mendez. Citlali Mendez Morales, summa cum laude. Alfred Milligan. Raul Moreno, cum laude. Shima Musa, cum laude. Ixtali Munoz. Josué Narváez. Isabel Pillado. Alexis Poor. Joe Ramirez. Verónica Ramirez. Genesis Ramos. Jocelyn Reveles, cum laude. Celeste Rios. Emily Rios, cum laude. Alyssa Robledo. Alyssa Rodriguez. Andrew Rodriguez. Mackenzie Rodriguez. Lucero Romero. Stephanie Ruiz. Stephanie Lorraine Sanchez, magna cum laude. Melissa Sandoval. Leslie Solorzano, cum laude. Hector Soto Ruiz. Tamisha Spencer, magna cum laude. Eric Thomas. Noah Tijerina. Dalia Trejo, magna cum laude. Angela Turner. Martín Vargas Ramirez. Vanessa Vega. Brianna Verdolivio, cum laude. Carla Villatoro. Melissa Ward, cum laude. Kanisha Washington. Haishim Weston. Amandra Williams, cum laude. Ignacio Zamudio. Now calling candidates with a bachelor's degree from the School of Education. Adriana Alonso, summa cum laude. Giselle Ayala, summa cum laude. Steve Cipriano, summa cum laude. Lindsay Ovalle, summa cum laude. Julia Pugh, summa cum laude. Christine Sanchez, summa cum laude.
Let's give them a round of applause, please. Congratulations, graduates. We are proud to welcome you as graduates of the University of North Texas at Dallas. Graduates, please stand. As a final rite of commencement, you may now move your tassel from the right side to the left. Graduates, please be seated. Graduates, let me be the first to offer my warmest congratulations to you and my very best wishes for a prosperous and successful future. Though an important period of your life has come to a close, you will carry your alma mater with you wherever you go. Never forget who you are and never forget where you came from. UNT Dallas will never forget you. Let's take a moment to recognize our UNT Dallas faculty who have encouraged, inspired, and challenged you to do your best work and instill the high academic values of the University of North Texas at Dallas. Because of these individuals, your degree and the degrees of those who follow will stand for excellence. Faculty, please stand. Graduates, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Please be seated. Would the parents of the graduates please stand? Thank you, parents, for your contributions to our graduate success. Let's give all the parents and extended family members a round of applause. Thank you.
At this time, if you have the ability to stand, would you please stand for the singing of the UNT Dallas Alma Mater? If you'd like to join in on the lyrics, they're found on page 16 of your commencement program.
Fierce as the night, great as the day, honor and glory the trail blaze away, lighting the path, leading the way, loyal and true the trail blaze away. Conquering fear, rising above, staring victory in its face. UNTD, we pledge to thee our loyalty, leaving a legacy of greatness abound. That is the trailblazer way.
It's showtime. I hope you found this commencement ceremony as moving as I did. Thanks to all of you for your hard work in getting to and through your programs. And now I'd like to ask our Mistress of Ceremonies to come forward and close out this ceremony. Thank you.
Well, this concludes the Spring 2023 UNT Dallas School of Business and School of Education commencement ceremony. As a courtesy to our graduates, we ask the audience to remain seated until the recessional is complete. To the families and friends of the graduates, at the conclusion of the recessional, please meet the graduates outside of the building. Graduates, please stand and prepare to take part in the recessional after the president and the platform party leave the stage.